How was your first date?
Oh, it was magical.
Say it like you mean it.
How do you know that she was the one? I'm still not sure.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
That is much better.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sonia's Prep. In this week's video, I have a very special, super duper video planned because it is my 2-year YouTube anniversary.
Woo!
I made it 2 years and I'm so proud of myself. And we have here Mr. Prep himself. He was very highly requested to be in this video. So I wanted to just gear this video towards our, marriage, our relationship. And this is a way of me giving back to my followers because a lot of you have a lot of questions for the two of us. So we're gonna take it away. Shai, would you like to say anything?
I'm actually a little bit nervous.
No, me too. You should see my first video. Whoever didn't see my first video, I am super nervous in that video. Like my body is tense. I'm like, yeah, hopefully you're gonna be okay.
Okay, bring it on.
Okay. So for the very first question, people wanted to know where we live and what kind of jobs we have. Mr. Prep?
Well, we live in New York.
Yes, we do.
I happen to be an HR director at a nonprofit organization.
And I'm a registered nurse. I work in a school, so I'm a school nurse. And the next question is, how long have we been married? Let's see if you know this one.
22 years?
Shame on you.
Just kidding.
We've been married for 15 years and we have 5 little kiddos. We have 2 sets of twins, 9 years old, 5 years old, and a 3-year-old baby boy. Next question is, do you have any pets?
Just the 5 kids. No pets. We don't have time for pets.
We used to have fish and yeah, we don't have time for any pets. So whenever my kids ask me for a dog or anything, I said, I need to take care of you. So next question that was very, very highly asked on the channel was, how did you guys meet?
Great question. We actually knew each other for a long time. Our families both went to the same synagogue, so we knew each other as we were kids, but we didn't really speak. We weren't really friends, even though we did go to the same school for a little bit. I'm a year older than she is.
Yes.
And as we got older, as we were in college, we got reacquainted, and the rest is history.
Yes, so we know each other from the 3rd, 4th grade. So we go really way back. There were a ton of questions on how we dated, what it was like, what is dating like in the Jewish culture, how was your first date, did you guys meet through a matchmaker, and how did you know that he or she was the one? So where to begin? We did not meet through a matchmaker. We actually met...
Actually, great questions.
Yeah, it is great questions. Although a lot of Jewish people, I guess, go through matchmaking, but we did not, and a lot of our friends actually didn't. Would you like to?
Well, we kind of started dating way before social media dating.
Right.
There was no swiping left or swiping right. Makes me feel really old, actually. We knew each other from our community. Our parents went to the same synagogue. So, there was definitely a familiarity. And it's actually an interesting story. We were both at an event, and I happened to see her and her brother, who I knew, and he gave me a ride home one day. And I just sparked my interest. I just figured, I'm ready to date, and I'm gonna ask her out. And it was pretty simple. I didn't really use a matchmaker, although I did go to a friend of hers and ask her what her opinion was, and her friend was like, go for it. So I thought I had the green light, and the rest is history.
Yep, and I guess we started to date when I was 19. I was turning 20, he was turning 21, so we were still quite young. Yeah, but it helped that we actually knew of each other, we knew the families. The next question is, how did you know that he or she was the one? And how long did it take? And how long did you date for?
I knew that she was the one right away.
So sweet. It took me a little longer.
And we dated for about 20 months. It was about a year and a half. Into a year, we got engaged. We were both fairly young. We were both in college, undergrad, and I was 20 years old. And we got engaged about a year after.
Right.
And we had an engagement for about 8 months, which is pretty long in our culture. Usually people get engaged for about 4 or 5 months and they have a wedding. But, we took our time. Again, we were young, we were in college, we really wanted to finish and be really rooted within our career paths before we begin our lives together. And there's been no regrets since. Right?
Right, of course. So I was still in college when we got married, and so was he. He was getting his master's in industrial psychology. So it wasn't that we were waiting, like a lot of people wait until we have our full degrees to get married. We just knew that I knew he was the one and he knew that I was the one. So we wanted to get married and be together. The next question was, how did you get engaged and how did he propose? So this was very, very cute.
It's a great story. Great story.
Yeah, you want to say it or should I?
Well, I'll say it. It's pretty simple. I wanted to do something extravagant. So I took her on a hot air balloon at sunrise. It was actually very beautiful, very romantic. We got way up high in the air. I took out a ring and I said, will you marry me? And it was just very romantic. And she had no choice. She said yes.
Otherwise, you would have thrown me off. But it was funny. It was actually the week of my birthday, so I had no clue. I thought it was like, a birthday thing, we're going on a hot air balloon. So it was a very nice surprise. A lot of people have also asked us about our marriage. So I have a few questions here. Where do you have date nights and how often? How do you make time for each other with 5 kids?
So going through the questions, I realized that a lot of people want to know how we met, how our marriage is like, how we make time for each other. I happen to take a lot of pride in that. We're young, we're energetic. So it used to be that we used to go out at least once a week. I made sure that we'd go on date nights, whether we go out to eat or just to go out with friends, just to get out of the house, to spend some quality time together. It's honestly been a little bit more difficult. And now as the kids are getting older, we're trying to get babysitters, but we still try to keep to that. We go out very regularly, spend a lot of time together. There's a lot of excitement. We want to be able to get to know each other still. There's a lot to talk about. And we get very excited when we just get out of the house and spend time on our own.
Absolutely. So it's definitely something that you do have to schedule because it's very easy to just forget about one another. And it's very easy to just get into a routine of waking up in the morning, going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids. So just to consciously make it a part of your day to spend time with your spouse. A lot of you also wanted to know who decides what we do in the house, who does all the cleaning, who does the chores around the house, who does the food shopping, and why. So I do a lot of the chores around the house just because I do it better, even though you do a great job too, but I just do it better, so I'd rather not be annoyed. But he helps a ton. There's no way that I can do this all on my own. You guys see how busy my life is, and he is a huge part of it. He is always there for me and always helping me out. He does all the food shopping because he knows how much I dislike it. I'm usually home, I go straight from work to pick up the kids, and if any of you have kids and have ever gone shopping with them, it is a disaster. So I do not do that, and he gladly does it for me. I have a whole shopping list that I create. I actually did a whole video on how I menu plan and how I have an amazing shopping list, and I'll link that video up above for you. So I'm very happy with him doing the shopping.
Yeah, I'm actually very good at it. I go around the store fairly quickly. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I need. I have my phone with my checklist. We happen to use Google Keep.
Yes.
So we have an entire list of everything that we need. So she'll add things, or I'll add things that I know that we ran out of. And when I get to the store, whether it be Costco or a supermarket or a poultry, vegetable, wherever we are, we know exactly what we need.
Right.
We go through the list. I happen to do it very quickly. When I come home, I beep from the car and the kids come out. They all help me, which is great. Right. So I'm very happy to help on that.
Right. This is just something that works for us in our family. Obviously, each family is different with how they divide their chores. But this is just something that works for us. Another very highly requested question to be answered was, how do you stay in shape with all the yummy foods that you make?
It's easy. You keep eating and you stay round, which is also a shape.
Very true. So for me, it's just a balance of eating, right? I usually eat very well during the week and I splurge all weekend, or I'll eat very, very well throughout the day, full day, and then at night I'll splurge a little bit. But that's just what I do. But I don't deprive myself because that's just something that has never worked for me. As soon as I say I cannot have something, it's just on my mind all the time. So I let myself have things in increments.
I actually get this question a lot from my friends, my coworkers, anybody who's watching Sonyas Prep, and anybody who knows me. The question that I get the most is, how are you not 300 pounds? Your wife is always cooking. So the truth is, as much as I love her cooking, I try to stay away. I eat a little bit at a time. I try not to overindulge. And we try to stay in shape. I used to go to the gym much more often than I do now. But, staying healthy, staying fit, taking care of yourself is really important. And just not eating everything in sight.
Yes. The next question is, how do you balance it all? Job, kids, house, husband. So I touched upon this in my previous Q&A video. It's very hard to balance everything when you have a lot on your plate. And I just do my best. It's not always a perfect day as what you might see here on YouTube. Sometimes it's a struggle, sometimes it's difficult. But I think what really keeps me grounded and keeps me sane is just to be as organized as I can possibly be, so that I know in my mind what needs to happen, what needs to take place. And he is very good at helping me as well. So that's a huge help in my life. Honey, how do you balance it all? Wife, house, children, job?
Oh, so difficult. Day by day, we do what we have to do. It's a pleasure.
You just gotta do it.
That's right.
You just gotta do it. That's it. There's no excuses. It's also all in your perspective. If you're going to wake up in the morning and think that everything is going to be a drag, it'll be a drag. But if you have a positive outlook, then everything will hopefully come out okay. The next question here is, what advice do you have for couples who are struggling with shalom bayit? So that's a very good question. Shalom bayit means peace in the home, or harmony between a husband and wife. And for me, what I feel is so important between a husband and wife is not to lose respect for one another.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once you lose respect for your spouse, it is so much harder to gain it back. So I feel like if you are struggling with shalom bayit, constantly remind yourself of all the good parts in your spouse.
For me, actually, it's learning the love languages. I have a lot of friends who always talk about what makes their wives happy. And I like to give them a lot of my advice because, from what I understand, each person is very different. Some people like gifts. Some people like sweet words. So it's very important to learn what your spouse's love languages are and really be able to
fulfill them.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Next question is, what was your greatest challenge in life and why? So for those of you who've seen my previous Q&A video, you know that we didn't have kids for a little bit. We struggled for about 6 years until we finally had our kids. Baruch Hashem, now we have our beautiful family, but it was very difficult to go through that. It felt very isolating at times, but thank God we are here today with our lovely family.
Well, in hindsight, everything works out for the best. We really, truly believe that. And it happened to be a blessing in disguise. We were able to strengthen the foundation of our marriage. We were able to travel, get to know each other better. And of course, we appreciate our beautiful family ever more now.
Right. I think that a lot of people ask me, how are you always so calm around your kids? Even though I don't see it, but I guess that's... Shai's like, you're never calm. You're never calm.
It's edited videos. She's always calm in the videos. I'm going to have to do bloopers. Just have a camera and follow you around the house.
That's such a good idea, actually. I think people would really appreciate seeing that.
Calm.
Stop it. The next few questions are everything related to Shabbat and cooking. So I have here, where did you learn how to cook, and what is your favorite meal? So I touched upon this in my first Q&A as well. I learned how to cook from my mom, from my mother-in-law, from watching Food Network, from different cookbooks, but I really didn't get so much into it until I was like 14 years old. The first thing I learned how to make was like a soup, because that was like the easiest thing, my mom said. And then it just evolved, my palate evolved. I was always curious to learn new recipes and to do beautiful tablescapes. So, and then what's my favorite meal? I'm a very simple girl. If I'm home alone and I want something to eat, I love to make myself some French fries with some garlic and dill. I just love it. So I'm very simple with that. That's my favorite go-to thing to do. Shai, how did you learn how to cook?
I don't know how to cook, not at all. I mean, I know my way around the kitchen. You know, it has to be things that you enjoy. Actually, a lot of our friends don't necessarily know how to cook, and that's something that you get. It's a question that you get sometimes.
Right.
Is it something that you feel obligated to do, or is it something that you enjoy doing?
Oh, I love cooking, and I think you could see that through the videos that I truly enjoy, and that I'm not doing it because I have to.
And that's why we're such a good pair, because I love to eat.
So I like to cook, and he loves to eat. Match made in heaven. How do you decide what you're going to cook? So I decide by asking my husband what he wants, by asking my kids what they want, because I actually want the foods that I cook to be eaten. I know some people who just cook whatever they want to cook, no matter what their kids or their spouse wants. I don't do that. I really literally ask them, what do you want to eat? And I have a whole rotating list of menus that I have, and I try to make them happy by cooking what they like to eat.
You know, actually, many families cater to different kids to ask them, what do you want to eat? And then make different things at night. And
yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Sonia. You know, she sticks to her guns. We make one meal, and if the kids say they don't like it, we just say simply, nobody asked you.
Right, and we have to try it, and then if they don't like it, they eat just a slice of bread with whatever cream cheese or whatever they want. But they do have to try everything. What is your husband's favorite and least favorite meal that you make? Be careful with this one.
I like everything she makes.
Good answer.
No, I'm not so picky. I mean, there are some types of foods that I just don't like, you know, just as a palate thing. But I happen to pretty much love everything that my wife cooks.
Do you have a favorite?
I love pasta.
Yeah, he does. He's a dairy guy.
I love dairy.
Yeah.
Anything with pasta, really.
So this question, I guess they maybe didn't see a few of your videos. Does Shai know how to cook? So he doesn't really know how to cook, but he can make something for himself, and he actually did a few videos. I'll have them linked up above and below for you guys to see, and he did such a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I got a lot of feedback on them. You know, I don't really know how to cook. It's not one of my fortes, and I can do it. I can get by. I can definitely feed the kids so they don't starve if someone's not around.
Yes.
But our fridge is usually stocked. There's always an option. We also have some frozen items. So there's always something, and I'm able to make what we do. But I do know my way around the kitchen. You know, for those of you who don't know, I happen to love to bake. I've been baking ever since I was a kid. I have a lot of different staples. Some of them were debuted on Sonyas Prep, and hopefully there'll be a few more.
Yes. Actually, leave me your comments down below. Do you want to see Shai cooking more in the kitchen?
No. Don't comment about that.
Why? What is your least favorite meal to cook? So my husband loves things with dough, like he said, pasta. He loves pilmeni and manti. These are all like Bukharian dishes that are so super hard to make. At least I feel so.
And for those of you who don't know what manti is or pilmeni, they're similar to dumplings, but they're homemade.
Yeah, they're homemade dumplings.
Soon she'll make a video on it, and you'll get to see it, and I'll get to eat it.
I don't think so. So those things are just hard for me to make because they're tedious and they're time consuming. So I would only make it if like my grandmother was around, or my mom or my mother-in-law were around to help me. So those are like my least favorite things to make. Have you ever thought of making a cookbook? I have so many questions on this, and absolutely, he's like my cheerleader, always telling me, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. I just don't have the time right now, but that is definitely something that I want to do in the future when I just have a little time to breathe. Right?
I think you should do it.
One day we're gonna do it. And next question is, describe a day in your life. It looks like you are incredibly busy, and do you stay up all night and cook? So no, I definitely don't stay up all night and cook. We wake up in the morning pretty early, right? 6:30ish. Shai goes to shul for services. He does his morning prayers. I wake up at around 6:45, 6:50. I get myself ready. I usually have the kids' clothing prepared from the night before, so when the kids wake up, they know exactly what to put on. And then Shai comes home. He takes over getting the rest of the kids ready with breakfast, and I'm out the door by 7:15 so I can make it to work on time. Did I miss anything?
No, it's right.
No? Yeah. What is your sleep routine like? So it's not that great, but it's not terrible. I usually go to sleep at around 11:30, and I'm up by 6:50.
So I happen to watch all of my wife's videos. Very exciting. I tend to go through many of the comments, part of it is a QA, part of it just to see what people are interested in. I find it very interesting that some people ask different questions about Judaism. I'm not a rabbi, she's not a rebbitzin. We're not really here to teach people laws about Judaism. It's just really about how we do things. So anybody that has any specific questions about different halachot, which are Jewish laws, go to your rabbi. That's really what we suggest. But we get a lot of interesting questions that people ask. I guess people who are not from the Jewish faith who want to know, do all Jewish people do this, or do all Jewish people do that? So Sonia has a very interesting question that she'd like to ask.
Is it true that Orthodox Jews don't let or like their women getting educated?
I find this very funny.
I find it hilarious also. You want to answer this or should I?
I mean, she's a nurse, a successful nurse. She went to school. She was encouraged by her family to go and get education. Her cousins are also educated. I guess it really depends on where you come from. We come from a culture where our parents wanted everybody in the family to go ahead and get a college education, right? Whether it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. Mm-hmm. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I mean, I came from Russia. I was born there, and coming here, we were very highly encouraged to get a degree, and not only any degree, but we had to choose a career path where it was like instilled in us, where become a nurse or a pharmacist or a doctor, so that you always have a job somewhere. So absolutely, our parents, being Jewish, always encouraged us to get a good education. We were not looked down upon. We were not made to feel like we only had to be in the kitchen all of our lives. So I've never experienced that. My extended family never did. Do I believe that happens in other cultures or in other sects of different religions? I'm not sure, but I've just never experienced it myself.
There's so many different fallacies that I hear about Judaism. I find them very funny. So if you have any questions, bring them on. Write them in the comments below. We'll try to answer them. Not everything you hear is true.
We have a question here from Mr. Prep.
But not.
How does Shai feel about your growing YouTube channel? Mr. Prep, did you discuss with Sonia before she made her channel? Did you receive any comments from people, and what kind? What do you do to support your wife so she can do this hobby?
So I happen to be very supportive of my wife's channel. Very excited at the growth and the way it's picked up in 2 years, how many subscribers she's had, the interest that people have shown in the channel, the questions that people send in. There's a tremendous following. You should be very proud of yourself. I happen to be very proud of her. There was a little bit of a hesitation when we first got on YouTube. It was a decision that we made together. We were very nervous about, showing bits and pieces of our life, of our family. It could get a little bit personal, but I think we do a very good job in balancing it. You do a very great job. The point of YouTube, as I see it, and as people have asked before, the reason why Sonia does it, and she answered this in a previous video, is to inspire other people. She really wants to be able to help a lot of young, inspiring families who are growing, who are raising children, who are working at the same time. Different families come in different sizes, and we all do it in a different way. And I think showing how a Jewish Orthodox family does it really helps.
So absolutely, before I started my channel, I of course went to my husband and we had a long conversation about it, multiple conversations throughout the years. We also went to a rabbi to see, if this is something that is even a good idea to do, because I didn't want to do it without consulting very big people in my life, like my rabbi or my husband. And we decided to basically take it one step at a time and see how it goes. After a few videos, we spoke about it again. Do you remember? We actually spoke about it a few times throughout YouTube. And
I think it was like at the 10th month mark.
Yeah, and we're very happy. So another question was, what inspired me to do these videos? And it's really because I, as a mommy myself, I was always interested in seeing how other people cook and take care of their families. And I thought it would be a great idea to show a different side of it, where YouTube did not have it at the time when I was looking into it, of Orthodox Jewish women and how they do Shabbat preps and holiday preps. So I thought it would be a great addition to YouTube. And now, of course, there's so many channels out there, which is so exciting to see, and I follow all of them. So yeah, that's why I got into YouTube.
But Sonyas Prep is the best.
5 points. Good job. Next question is a good one. Would you consider pursuing YouTube full-time and leave your job? So honestly, at this stage, I absolutely do not see that. I really, truly enjoy being a nurse. I enjoy my job. I love going someplace outside of my home every single day, getting dressed up, putting on some makeup. I don't think it is the right fit for me to just always be home and doing YouTube, at least not at this stage in my life, but I have no idea what the future holds. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? Do you think you'll still be doing this channel as a grandma? And I'm gonna leave that question up to all of you. Where do you guys think I'll be in 20 years? Leave me your comments down below. What do you think I'm gonna be doing in 20 years?
Cooking my favorite meals, hopefully.
Absolutely, always to make you happy, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think this was like a super fun video. You did great, Shai.
Is that it?
That's it.
There's gotta be more questions.
No, you did all of them.
No, can't be. So we hope that this video was helpful. We hope that you understood that, we happen to be just a normal Jewish couple, living in New York, raising our family, working, and trying to build a very successful YouTube channel. So we appreciate your support, and give us a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends.
This was such a fun video to do. I had such a great time with you, Shai. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And if you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time. I'm gonna keep some of these outtakes, okay?
With my permission, of course.
I'm not gonna see you all next time.
From our family to yours.
I thought you were gonna say it.
Yeah, together, we're gonna say together.